So I'm trying to think of a worse vampire film than Morbius, and I'm having to reach all the way back to 2009's Lesbian Vampire Killers. Firstly, mostly because I haven't seen those sparkly vampire films, and also I've got a soft spot for that terrible Gerard Butler one where it turns out that Dracula was actually Judas Iscariot. But what makes it so bad? Not bad in the fun kind of way like a Batman and Robin, but just simply a bad film. Well, it doesn't have anything to say or revolutionary storytelling tricks up its sleeve, the narrative is simple yet muddled, it's full of unnecessary characters, and it's 104 minutes long when it should simply be 90 and done, allowing me to get to the pub quicker. And why it has a 15 rating simply baffles me. It's so bloodless and tame that I would quite happily show it to 12-year-olds. I mean, it's so darkly shot that even if it was gory, they wouldn't be able to see anything anyway. But to set the scene, Morbius is a film from the Sony Venomverse, I think, but the director has hinted that it takes place in the Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man verse, but it wants to be in the MCU so bad it hurts. However, at the end of the day, none of it matters. This is your bog standard, person gets powers, person tries to figure out powers whilst dealing with evil twisted versions of themselves with near identical powers and probably some sort of personal connection between them. You've seen it done before and you've seen it done so much better. The first Iron Man, for example. But whilst this dull, grey, boring slog of a film has so many issues, I swear to film that the scenes in the first 10 minutes were actually out of order, I do have a lingering sort of sympathy for this because it's been delayed so often. It was originally supposed to come out in July 2020, about a decade after it would have actually been relevant, but then it got pushed back again and again and again, which also means reshoots because having interconnected films means that you have to make sure the references are right. So I guarantee there are roughly like 9 different versions of this film set on 9 different shelves, none of which are likely to be much better, but might be slightly more coherent. I mean, at least Matt Smith's having a complete and utter blast. Apparently he had no idea what was going on in the scripts, despite being able to make sense of scripts of Doctor Who.
Doctor! I know! Dinosaurs! On a spaceship!
So, instead just seems to have decided to see how much scenery one man can eat, aka the Tim Curry method.
I'm escaping to the one place that hasn't been corrupted by capitalism. Space!
Everyone else is taking this film very, very seriously, so it's easy for him to light up the screen when he's on it, and we miss him when he isn't. I mean, Leto's doing his best here at portraying a man who's accidentally turned himself into a vampire, but this film is so shallow that I just didn't feel anything. Also, I wasn't too sure what his motivations were. Was he trying to cure himself, learn to deal with his condition, or was it multiple edits just making things muddled? Tyrese Gibson turns up as a cop trying to make sense of what's happening, and he might originally have served some purpose in the narrative here, but he could have been cut completely and nothing would change. Same especially goes for his wacky sidekick. And I didn't even get to the terrible, unconvincing CGI towards the third act of the movie yet, did I? The final third of the movie is full of CGI, which is overwhelming, unconvincing, so dark that I couldn't even begin to work out what was going on, but since each character was so generic, I just didn't care, and since I didn't know what each character's power levels were, I didn't know if either was actually doing damage to the other. The ending sucks as well, not just the ending scenes, which are as bad as they're saying, but the film just seems to end when it needed another 5 minutes to tie up the film's loose ends. I mean, there are some interesting non-Matt Smith related moments. There's a tense scene on a ship, there's some interesting ideas here about what someone who found themselves in this situation would do, but nothing is explored. You don't really care for anyone, and the whole thing just feels very checkbox. Scene of discovering powers, check.
Join me.
Check. It's all so generic when it could have been interesting, so yeah, the long-delayed Morbius is the same superhero origin flick you've gotten bored of long ago with neither the time nor inclination to delve into its moral implications or inexplicable 15 rating. Apart from Matt Smith, it's all very serious, and I just want to finish this so I can forget it ever existed. Should take about 5 minutes. So, I'll see you next time. This is a bomb! Do not see this film under any circumstances, but what did you guys think, and what is your least favourite vampire monster movie of all time? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, Ben and Donkey. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe.